Today on Midwest Ghost Hunters Dark Matter Podcast, we're podcasting from Pythian Castle in Springfield, Missouri. Welcome to Midwest Ghost Hunters Dark Matter Podcast. I'm John, Melissa, Bobby, Dustin, Tyler, Chris, the entire crew here today as we're podcasting from Pythian Castle in Springfield, Missouri from a brand new location for us inside the castle.
We said last time, toyed with the idea of moving a room behind, and that's what we did. So we may sound a little different. I can already hear it does sound a little different.
Yeah.
It's a little echoey.
It's a bigger, much bigger room. But the reason we moved in here is because we've heard things before, from behind us in the other room we used to podcast from. In my mind, all that was behind us was a small closet, but there's this giant room that we're in. And I knew it was the girls' dormitory. I don't know why I was picturing a small closet.
Well, you want to let her tell the history of this?
No,
book?
I'm going to be doing the history today.
Oh, you want to do it? Okay.
I don't know the history.
That's fine. Go ahead.
He's just going to go ahead and make up a bunch of stuff randomly.
I mean, other people that come here get it
the
wrong.
great pillow fight of 18, No, go ahead.
19.
You can,
Wasn't here in the 1800s?
oh, true. You can go ahead. 1928.
So what was this, kind of the history of this room here from the beginning to the moment that we moved in?
Oh, okay.
There could have been a pillow fight here in the 1800s.
There almost certainly was.
It wasn't built
could there
in the
not?
1800s.
But there could have been a pillow fight on these grounds.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead and give us the
I
history
can't go with these people
of this
anywhere. I
room.
swear.
I'm getting a vision. I just see pillows.
Oh my God.
Pillows everywhere.
If we get like an EVP of, a soft, bash of a pillow against a human being, we'll know what it is.
Well, we've gotten that before.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry. You can give us the real history of this room after the pillow fight.
I can't with you guys today. Okay, so this was originally the girls' dormitory. So when the Pythians built the castle, they had children that lived here. So all little girls would have been in this space. During World War II, this was a space, they called it a writing room, but any of the soldiers that had surgery at the hospital next door, this is a room they could come recuperate, relax, write letters home. And then in the 80s, when OCAC had the building, this room was used for family planning.
So yeah, it is a very large
This is
room.
where families would come and plan their next vacation the following year.
I wasn't sure. I didn't know if they did that in the 1900s.
Oh my gosh, 1900s.
So yeah, it's a very big room. If we catch anything in here, it'll be interesting to see if it has the same reverberation of the room itself. But we didn't just come in here to try to catch EVPs in here. We thought, as we do the regular podcast, if anything new pops up, we'll try it in a different location. We don't really have a subject or theme again today that we were going to talk about.
Are you kidding me? I don't know. John's got some Sasquatch news for us. John?
One of the things I did think would be kind of neat to talk about, especially considering we're...
Are you actually going to talk about
here.
Sasquatch? Are you seriously going Sasquatch? I was just joking.
Oh, I don't have any Sasquatch.
I've been watching a Sasquatch show, though, called Bigfoot Lives.
Good Lord. Tell us about Bigfoot Lives.
I don't want to. I watch it for the entertainment value. Like you said, you watch a lot of those shows because they're so ridiculous.
For sure.
That's kind of
What's
where
it on?
I am. Huh?
Is it?
I watch it on Hulu Live. It's on, I think, the Travel Channel sub-channel.
Have they found him yet?
I haven't found him yet. I'm not so sure how they're
saving it for the season finale. You don't want to do it. That was my elbow.
Oh, okay.
That was my elbow very painfully hitting against the corner of this desk.
Yeah, you don't want to bring Bigfoot out in season
It's
1.
like a monster. You can't show him in the first hour of your movie. You got to save him for the end.
What were you?
I was going to say, we're in this room here that I would, if you were to tell somebody that that they were interested in paranormal investigation, and that they were wanting to go out and do that, what would you advise that they do if someone's thinking about that?
Don't.
Well,
honestly,
it
I think that's actually a good deal, because I think a lot of people that want to be quote unquote ghost hunters, they think that you're going to go out and it's going to be...
Yeah. First thing you'd have to do is curb your expectations quite a bit.
You're ready to be bored for 4 hours.
Yes.
Yeah, especially when you first start out, because you got to take whatever comes down the pike like we did.
Be ready to be bored for 4 hours if you're actually giving a legitimate effort at finding something.
Yeah, if you want to drag out the ghost box and, put the pasta drainer on your head or whatever, it is that people do.
Can't believe you did that.
But, I mean, sure, you can find something. But if you want to do a legitimate, search, for something paranormal, then
lost.
it's not going. Your patience is going to wear thin.
The particular individual he's talking about was actually here last night at the castle and was abnormally nice to me. He was super friendly last night.
What, is that for a reason?
I don't know.
But yeah, like we were saying, if you want to go to an investigation, and if you bring, those stupid little apps or the ghost box or anything like that, you can force something to pop up. We try not to do that. We don't use that ghost box, anymore, because we realized after years of using it that we were dragging it out for that very reason. We didn't do it, consciously. But whenever, things get quiet, it's like, well, let's go get the ghost box. Let's get this thing going. Because it's kind of like some people say with a Ouija board, there's subconscious, fine motor movements in the hand that make the planchette move. It's the same thing with the ghost box. You can force yourself to hear almost anything on those.
As far as equipment goes, what would you say? Okay, we're wanting to go out and we're wanting to try to make a run at legitimate paranormal investigation, but we don't have the money to do all sorts of infrared things that you would see like on Ghost Hunters and everything else. What would you start with?
First thing you want to do is head to a little store called Spencer's. Pick you up some demon bells. One set for each hand.
However, I will say I did love the cat toys.
The cat balls?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because
that was
the
cool.
investigation we did in Buffalo.
Bells in and of themselves isn't.
Right.
We've been to places where if we hung up bells, they'd get rung.
Right.
You know
But
what?
he's talking
Wind
about-
chimes would be a good
I know
idea.
what he's
Wind chimes
talking
are good.
about. I
He's
know what
talking
he's
about
talking about,
specifically marketed demon bells.
But to
Demon
answer your
bells,
question,
TM.
honestly, I don't think you really need anything more than a
It's
recorder or two.
surprisingly inexpensive, yeah.
Just a recorder or two, whichever one has on their phone now.
But, some people want to be able to see something.
Well,
Good luck.
that gets a little
So,
tougher.
you could have your K2 meter.
Sure. Yeah. If
The-
you need
you know.
the visual biofeedback,
Yeah.
then yeah, a K2 meter would work. But yeah, the cat toys. But there were these little spheres, these little balls that whenever if you really stomp the floor hard around them, they light up. I like those. So I think those were a good addition. Maybe we call them something besides cat toys.
We used
That's what
to
they're called.
we used to do the flashlight and kind of make the contact between the
We've done
battery
that.
terminals
Yeah.
weak.
Yeah.
But that's not consistent.
It's really not. And you can, if you want to get into the science of that, there can be like a small synapse of, energy between, even if it's not full contact, it can still jump the gap and make contact, that way. However, we did that one time. We did the flashlight test, where you unscrew it, just like you said, and make it where you just tap it and it'll come on. And we did invite, whatever was there to turn the flashlight off. And then whenever we came back in, the damn thing was actually turned off.
You showed me.
Slid to the off position, not just touched.
You showed me video or audio one time of it, and you were saying, "Can you turn that light on?" And you did, and you said, "Thank you," and then something says, "You're welcome."
Well, I think that was you and I by ourselves in the skilled nursing facility, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Maybe.
It was.
I think it was.
That or the school.
No, I think this was the empty wing of that nursing home that he and I did
One of the
time
first
ago.
ones. Yeah.
Yeah, because it seemed like we were getting direct replies with that, and then we did catch an EVP, that was in conjunction with that.
Have you ever thought about using a fog machine?
What is that? No, no, it's to detect movement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
with the
currents.
laser grid, because we've got a really good laser grid that's still in my top drawer.
If someone wouldn't forget to bring it.
I forgot I got it. So yeah, that would have been perfect in that tunnel in Buffalo, or in that basement. I'm sorry, in the basement in Buffalo. But yeah, if you were introduced that with the fog machine, not only do you have a super cool rave, but you'd be able to detect movement much easier. A lot of groups will use flour on the floor too.
I feel like with the fog machine, though, you'd be looking for... You might be able to make your own evidence with that.
You probably could with certain current. Even with the HVAC off, there's still going to be.
I think also the problem you're going to get into, depending on the building that you are investigating. If you're at a house, you're probably okay. If you are at a any sort of a commercial building anymore, sprinkler systems have shifted over
You'd have
the
to be
years.
careful, yeah.
Years ago, they were based, I believe, off of heat.
They were based off temperature.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so it would get to a certain level, then they would go off. Now, since smoking has all but been banned for virtually every indoor building, I guess you can if you do a private club or something like that, depending on the part of the world you're in. But in for the most part, it's just not done as much anymore. So now they use lasers and
Photosensitive
yes,
detection.
and so it will shoot to the ground. And so if something happens and there's something in the way of it, then all of a sudden it's going to set off a fire alarm. So
I just went through this, by the way. I actually called the 800 number on the damn smoke detector. I was like, why is this thing? I've got brand new batteries in it, and it was a small piece of debris that was on that sensor.
Yep.
If a small piece of debris is blocking that sensor, your fire alarm's going to chirp at 3 a.m.
So that's why I actually do not recommend the use of fog machines in general. Had we done one in Buffalo, the last thing I want to do is set off the smoke alarms in a wedding. I mean, and you could do that.
Yes,
you
with all
could
those
do
dresses and
that.
everything.
You absolutely could do it. So
That'd be
please,
awful.
I would stay away from that for paranormal investigations. You
Can
don't
you
want to do that.
imagine how cool we would look at Mars Hill with the fog machine and the laser grid and Thriller playing on a Bluetooth speaker?
That would be pretty awesome.
That would be pretty cool.
Well, it's the only reason I do this is to look cool. So,
But Ty is actually right. They do use those. That kind of stuff. Dry ice, to detect movement.
Melissa, what would you use? You've been around a lot of different groups and everything else. If someone's saying, okay, I'm now wanting to get into paranormal investigation, where do I go? What would you recommend?
If you don't have a ton of money to throw around, the K2 is great if you're wanting to see something, any kind of recording device. If you have a little bit of money to spend, I really like REM pods.
Yeah, I've actually looked at REM
I'd
pods.
really like to have one. They can sense temperature change if something touches it and movement. I would really like to have one.
REM pods are cool because you can set them up in two different ways. You can set them up where it's essentially a movement detector. You can set it up where it's a temperature, detector, which technically would be the thermometer, or you can set it up to detect both, and it's got little lights on the top that light up. When
And then
one
it
of those
also
two things
has
happen.
like a siren, I guess you could say. So
Yeah.
you can set it in a room and go off and investigate something else. And if you hear it, you know something else is going on.
And
So-
it's kind of like with our EMF detector that there literally has to be something there to set them off. I mean, wind or particles, dust particles aren't going to do it. It's got to be something with some mass to it. So the REM pod would definitely be a legitimate piece that we could definitely add. But as far as if people are wanting to do a startup, group type thing, all you really need are some good recorders and flashlight. Like whoever, Melissa or whoever said, a lot of people are wanting to go out and catch, the shape, the mass, the shadow figure.
People want to see stuff. People are hoping for.
I mean, we'd done this for years before we ever caught anything like that.
Yeah.
Years. And the first time we ever did was at Barbara's house in Willard, I think.
And I have yet to see like an apps that you can
Forget
download to phones. I've never seen one that's any good. Anybody?
No, they're garbage.
There's no, as far as I know, there's nothing in any phone that can even detect that.
There's not. I tried for once, I tried one time for fun to download not night vision. It imitates a FLIR. I guess that would be a thermal cam. It's absolutely ridiculous. All it is a regular camera that applies blocks of color.
Our
like
phones-
a filter color on
my
it.
phone doesn't even have an FM tuner. So if I had the capabilities to do that, I'd kind of be mad. I can't even listen to the radio, and it can detect
Why?
it doesn't have FM tuners. There are none. Like your
Right.
phones nowadays don't have a
No,
tuner.
they,
I
have,
see
they
what
haven't
you're
put those on. They haven't put those on phones.
Yeah, not a true FM tuner. Yeah, you have to tap into the stream. But yeah, I've tried those apps. I'd say forget all of them. They're garbage. The Ghost Radar, remember that?
The little stick
Oh,
figure.
yeah. I see
Well,
that on tours.
We should do
That doesn't even get into that dumb stick figure.
that.
thing.
Would be a funny episode
the SLS
for us to
camera.
just download a bunch of garbage paranormal apps and just try and play with them.
I could download one right now and see what's around
I think
us.
you should
That
go
would
ahead
be
and do
kind
it.
of fun.
Okay, let me see what I can find here. You guys go ahead. I'll download the Ghost Radar because I guarantee it's going to have 5 or 6 dumb things coming up
yeah.
behind me.
And then, if there are people out there that want to get more into the metaphysical side of things, I like dowsing rods. I like using those, but that is, that and a pendulum. You can use those things, but you have to be very careful because that is something you can easily manipulate to create answers
Yeah, that really
you
comes
want.
down to your
So-
trustworthiness of the investigator
Right,
using it. Yeah.
exactly. So, if you think you can do that and not encourage certain answers, then go for it,
Yeah.
But that is something, again, you have to really be conscious of what your body is doing because you can influence all kinds of stuff.
I watch a lot of paranormal shows. Many of them I watch for entertainment value. Some of them I watch because I think they're good. And I don't know where this one falls, but have you guys seen, you would probably be the most likely to have seen, the pop star Kesha.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of it.
She has a show called Conjuring Kesha. Now, she is
Why
someone...
do you think I'm the one that knows this? I don't listen to her music.
I don't think you would listen to her music. It's just you seem to watch more of the show.
I don't watch very many of those shows.
I watch some of them.
I know for a fact Dustin doesn't at all. Anyway, she has a show, and it's not that she's brand new to paranormal stuff. She claims to have been experiencing it her whole life. So she's not new to it. She's always said that. From the very beginning. So she has a show called Conjuring Kesha where she will take another, pop star. I've yet to know one of them. I don't know any of them, but she'll take a friend with her and they'll go to these places. They did a Ouija board session that was probably one of the best that I've ever seen because the planchette moved about 4 inches with neither of their hands on it. And that was captured on camera. So I've never seen anything like that happen. So that wouldn't have been one of those situations, where one of the people were accidentally moving it because neither of their hands were within 2 feet of it.
See, I prefer when we're doing investigations, I prefer to use things that give like actual credible evidence back.
Right.
That give a feedback of actual stuff that's why I've always enjoyed audio more than anything else.
Yeah, I do too. And would you mind while you're downloading apps?
I'm not. I've got it, man. And we've got a major event occurring.
Major event.
Event.
Oh man,
It's right on you, Melissa.
It is.
What I was going to,
wow.
what I was also going to say is that there's a group that Ty and I follow.
Ty does not follow this.
Not these people again.
And he has an app that it's one of these things that scans and it throws out words.
Oh,
and
it's stupid word generators.
And we've got to have that,
God,
because
that's another example of using.
Ty and I love to follow this guy, and
I don't follow shit.
And so,
no matter what word it throws out, it doesn't matter what word it throws out. You can make that word, important.
Hey, what's going on there? Can you
talk to the people about
can you
the
press
app?
On my app?
Can you get more details? Does it tell you what the major event? Do you have to pay $19.99 to see that?
I can turn the sensitivity up.
Well, why wouldn't you? It should be
For
up by
a
default, right?
recurring monthly subscription of $19.99.
It did say in-app purchases, but it's oh man, look.
Oh, I've got
we
one
got
here.
a red dot.
41,000
red
reviews.
dot instead of yellow.
So yeah, we've got a big event happening right behind me. But as you can see,
So I will say,
I am totally fucking scared right now. I'm just scared.
Calibrating sensors.
What is that?
Oh,
It's
my.
calibrating my sensors, dude.
What is it?
I've got an EMF and an EVP
That's a
sensor.
different-
Oh, that's cool.
Oh,
That's
that's a fancy one.
Mine has an EMF recorder
Okay,
as
no.
well.
For the pro upgrade,
Yeah, that's
you can
behind it.
ask more than 5 questions per ghost.
Next.
great.
More ghosts added regularly.
What does that mean?
Improved accuracy and higher speed, and you can remove all advertising.
More ghosts.
More
I
ghosts.
think the important thing to take there is improved accuracy.
Yeah.
15-minute long ad. So as soon as this is over, we can hunt some
I have
ghosts.
not had any ads yet.
Dude, I mean, as far as like Ouija boards go, I don't care. Like if somebody's like, well, they've used a Ouija board here before.
That ad
I'm
right
like,
there can show you your credit score.
Yeah, that's your credit score. It's a credit score
One
detector
click,
too.
man.
But I'm like, if they'll be like, oh, yeah, they've used a Ouija board here before. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. They play Monopoly too. Like, who cares?
Right, yeah, we've talked about that before. I mean, the Ouija board comes off the same production line as Monopoly and Trouble.
But I did see a cool thing with the Ouija board. So the
point
most recent group that came and filmed here at the castle, they created a Ouija board with small, like REM pods, EMFs. So they had one on each letter,
That's a good idea.
and they would ask questions, and then it would spell it out.
And I've kind of
So-
seen that done before where you make your own, they write it on a big piece of cardboard and do it with different sensors like that.
I thought that was kind of cool. It was something
if,
different.
If Ty, if you would point your back over there, I saw an anomaly right there. You see how Bobby's not holding her microphone?
Entity detected.
She keeps talking and doesn't have her microphone.
It says the frequency is 0.05, but it doesn't give a unit, so it's something.
Melissa, you've seen a lot of different
I can ask a
different
question.
groups that have come in here.
He can ask a question
Oh,
on his
it
app.
disappeared.
Damn it.
Let's wait. It'll come back up.
Mine is showing one in the same
You've
spot for what it's worth.
So you got to get a.
Oh, you mean directly ahead of us?
No, you've got to
Where all the equipment is?
Right by Bobby.
you've got to get a ghost in frame.
Oh, and mine has a word. It's saying things.
Your ghost is talking to
It
you?
says it said up. If you catch something up there, I'm gonna freak out. We're gonna have to delete this and start over.
I want to ask it a question.
No, never mind. Next episode.
Wonder
Midwest
Farm.
Ghost Hunter, sponsored by.
Dude,
My Ghost Radar.
This stupid shit has 41,000 reviews, 4 stars on the App Store.
but here's the deal. Here's what you guys are forgetting about all of this stuff.
No, it says
You are
below.
thinking about going out and trying to really do true paranormal research. This is not about paranormal research. This is about fun.
This is entertainment,
You got to keep
yeah.
in mind the number of people that are out. There are adults out in this market right now that are hunting Pokemon.
That's true.
There are.
But
I got to. There's a little drop-down menu for my questions, and I asked it
Oh, it's
what
got
kind
like
of entity it is.
what is that?
Oh, you don't have to talk.
The
me guess, it's
response.
gonna say a
The
demon?
response is in Klingon. Hold on.
What does it
What?
say?
It's
saying-
Klingon.
I'm not saying it being the ghost.
is
but
it
your app
actually
is saying
Klingon?
things.
In your world, they call me by many names.
my
Perhaps you know me best as a poltergeist.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh shit!
All right, so
I have
proof
yet
positive.
to hear a ghost refer to themselves as a poltergeist.
Nobody's gonna do that.
I'm gonna go ahead and delete this.
I mean, if we catch an EVP where like we hear a voice say, "I'm a poltergeist,"
The whole idea of a poltergeist is they're not gonna say I'm a poltergeist.
you're wrong. They just did.
Proof's right here.
So, mine has words too.
But that's the reason why all these ghost apps, because
You're right. It's
you're
the
gonna-
same idea.
It
It's
is.
it's for
It's like-
entertainment.
yes, it's like going out hunting Pokemon.
Yeah, those 41,000 downloads are almost certainly like teenagers just
Yes.
hanging out,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
having fun.
and they're going out and they want to find something cool and they want to go out and you want to go through grandma and grandpa's basement or their house or whatever and hunt ghosts.
Yeah, no, I'm not
You-
blaming the people that downloaded it.
You're going to come back in and they're going to do something that generates a word, and that word is going to throw it out. It's like what Chris
Look,
talks
I
about.
blame the people that are making these apps. It's scummy. It's scummy.
Yeah,
it's
well,
it's predatory.
They are free, so.
They are free until
In-app
you have
purchase.
This
Purchases.
is the first place people go. This is the first place people go when they think they may have paranormal activity in their house. Is they go to these apps. Understandably, whenever I need a level and I can't find mine in the toolbox, that's the first thing I do too. Is I load the level on my
You know
phone.
that app that can see the studs behind the wall?
I have that.
Does it work?
Yeah.
Yeah, it detects.
What?
Yeah.
What?
That's how I use mine.
Yeah, there's a phone
I've got
app.
it right here on my
What
my
in
phone.
the world?
How?
We've needed that so many times.
It just
can detect
detects
the
the
metal
metal,
in the
yeah.
studs.
Oh, well, this app can detect ghosts across the room. So how does it do that?
I don't know.
That's what I want to know.
I don't know how it does it, but that's how I put holes in the wall.
Yeah.
Because I lost my stud detector many years ago, and I loaded this. I was unsure whether it's going to be an actual usable.
Of course, you
thing.
might have missed the one with the porch swing.
The what?
The porch swing stud. You missed
Oh
that.
yeah.
Well, in my defense, I didn't miss the stud. I accidentally got it into the faucet anchor instead of the stud.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, yeah, the stud detector app does work.
Yeah.
I use
Well,
it,
it
all
makes
the,
more
I
sense.
use
I mean,
it all the time. It's got a red light. You literally put your phone up against the wall, and a red light comes up whenever you hit the stud. It works. It's there.
I'll be damned.
I use it all the time, and the level, of course, works too.
Now, I don't know what the phone is using to make that happen.
I don't know either.
But it works.
Yeah, it does. It does. And there are metal detector apps. I've never used them. Maybe they work too in the same way. But the ghost apps don't. They're stupid. Me and Tyler have each loaded one. And all it does is show like essentially a Doppler of I'm assuming the central point is where the phone
But these
is.
things are designed to catch something, because if you go out and you do something and you're on a ghost hunt, you go out and spend 9-10 hours somewhere and not catch anything. It's a lot more fun to find something.
Well, that's what I was going to say, on the last podcast. I don't know if I ever got there, but that one that me and Dustin did where we overshot it by 45 minutes and then went back and actually found it, and it was out in the middle of nowhere. We literally were falling asleep.
Truly out in the middle of nowhere.
mean-
we say that Willard was out in the middle of nowhere, and it was. This is truly out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah,
Like,
because the road we were on was big enough for one car, and I actually commented. I was like, if we meet someone, one of us isn't going to make it. So I hope we win. But we literally were sitting there. We tried everything, and we're literally sitting there just falling asleep. And finally, it's like I'm not gonna make it home if we don't go.
There's been stuff happen to every place we've been to that I've been with you guys.
Yeah, you've been with us. To Ashley's here.
I fell asleep at Ashley's house though too. When we were almost done, I was snoring on the couch.
Well, it's because you work weird hours, and I mean that's to be expected. We're talking about falling asleep out of sheer boredom.
there was nothing there.
There was nothing there. There was nothing happening. It was comfortable. It was awfully hot in there. And we were just The only thing there was some coyotes outside.
But our intentions didn't change. We tried to catch stuff the whole time.
We did. We tried right up to the very end. You remember when we were sitting there looking through, they said, if you want to look through my daily calendar, I've written every time something happens down this calendar. It was an old elderly lady.
That was a...
And we looked through that entire calendar every day for a whole year, you know, reading through there. You know, had chicken nuggets with the grandkids.
Sneezed today, twice in a row.
Well, I mean, literally everything was documented. Or heard music through the vents. You know, even that would pop up. So that's why we had to look through every day to see what was happening. And by the end of it, we were just absolutely teetotally bored and tired because nothing was happening, which was good news for her. So that is the way a lot of we're, you know, talking about if you were going to do a startup group, that's the way a lot of them are going to go.
You know, the thing about this here at Pythian Castle, I know this doesn't sound logical what I'm getting ready to say, so I already know that. To me, it's almost like the room that we normally podcast in. Activity seems to want to come into that room to join things. When we did the all-night investigation here at the castle, we catch more stuff on a standard podcast in a morning than we caught all that night. Now, granted, we did see a full apparition that day, so I will have to give some points for that. But
a few.
But
give some points on the old Kimmins.
I'm gonna have to give some points for that one.
The Kimmins Hontometer.
But when you look at this, it's almost like that. At least for us here, that we've had more activity, or we think things that we think are activity, or things we can't explain, whatever you want to call it. It's always during interactions with us. It's not usually just a random thing here.
Yeah.
That was me.
Yeah, that was you. I saw that. Yeah, I think so. Essentially, what you're saying is we get more activity in the other room.
Well, I think the other room is, but I don't know if it's because it's a more active area, or that's just where they're expecting us to be.
It's funny that we talk about how active that area is, but during our overnight investigation, we didn't
didn't
step
do
foot in
anything.
there.
No.
We didn't go in there one time.
Well, that's just because we had been in there and we wanted to see everything else.
And nobody ever investigates in here, ever.
Yeah, they do what we did. I mean, we didn't either.
Yeah,
They do what
nobody
we did.
comes
They
in
go
here.
to the tunnels and the POW cell.
Melissa, you spent a lot more time at the castle than anybody else. You've been here with different groups that have done investigations here. What area would you consider, based on everything you've been around, to be the most active?
The basement.
Yeah, see, that's
Basement.
also where I would.
I filmed with the group back in April, and we were up in the boys' dorm. Not a gosh darn
Let me
thing
ask you.
happened.
I probably should have asked you this off the recording, but is there any possibility we could podcast in the basement at some point?
That would be cool.
I can probably ask.
If there's power, which I'm sure there is.
There has to be. There's
Because
lights.
power down
there's a gargoyle down there that moves. So I mean,
It just
that's not a
depends.
paranormal thing.
That
It's
It
actually,
just depends where y'all would want to do it.
That basement.
It'd just be cool to do it in the basement, like
you wanna
or
do
in the
it
POW cell,
by the
somewhere like
POW
really
cells?
creepy. Yeah, like somewhere like
That'd be
where
cool, yeah.
where
That
we
thing
have
is
the
absolutely
most
sprawling.
activity.
yeah, it's big. Well, I mean, when
It
we
makes
went-
sense to podcast where the most activity happens.
And the first thing that happened that night we did our overnight investigation here, when we walked
Oh
downstairs,
my
is the
gosh,
chandelier was
yes.
swinging.
oh yeah, that's right.
Chandelier.
And not a soul had been down
That's
there.
right. I
And
forgot
Melissa
about
said
that.
that she'd never seen that happen.
I mean,
Has it
not,
happened since?
Not just a little.
Nope.
It wasn't one of those things where you look at it and it's like, is that moving? It was moving.
No, it was like swinging.
Yeah, it was moving.
Didn't you take a video of it? You can see like the shadow on the.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've got the video.
If you can imagine like a creepy looking chandelier in a basement swinging like creepily, that's what
That's
it
it.
looked like.
Is that an electric one or is it like lanterns on there?
They're just like those remote control candles.
Okay.
Yep. So you don't even have to touch the candles to turn them on. You just
Dang,
button.
that's fancy.
oh yeah.
So yeah, that was like our first experience here. But yeah, that would be cool if we could get down into the basement sometime and at least do one or two down. We don't have to camp
Oh,
out
we
down
should
there
do it
every
in the
time. That's a lot of
tunnel.
stuff to carry a long ways.
Yeah, Bobby, here's what we can do. We could do that, and we could send Bobby and Ty remote from the tunnel.
No, I'm not going to the
I
tunnel.
don't know
I'd
that
go to
you're
the
going to get
tunnel.
anything from the tunnel.
I need a
Remote.
tunnel with more than one other person. I need someone in the front of me and behind me.
That's a lot of people to trample.
I don't feel safe without it.
I think we should do a contest. See who can stay at the end of the tunnel the longest.
It would be Ty.
Tyler.
It would be Ty. Yeah.
There's no contest.
Appreciate it.
I couldn't stay down there though. I couldn't
I'd have an
stay in the
anxiety
basement
attack
either.
from like the.
Well,
it's
and
way
like we've
too
said before,
claustrophobic.
even like if we were to go down there right now, it's going to be pitch dark.
Yep.
And with me, that night when we were all the way at the end of the tunnel and I was looking back towards the entrance to the tunnel, I could make myself think I was seeing movement down there that was
It's
just my
disorienting.
eyes adjusting, to the low light, area. So I would probably not last as long as he would, because I got to the point where I was looking at nothing else. I was just focusing at that one spot, and I
Once
could
those
swear.
walls start closing in, man, it's like
tight.
spelunking. I would never go spelunking.
I've been spelunking.
What is
You'd
spelunking?
have
Cave
to
diving.
Cave diving.
Oh, yeah.
you'd have to pay me millions.
I won't do it
I wouldn't do it
anymore.
either. Yeah, I wouldn't do it either. But yeah, it does get tight down there. But that would be a cool. That would be cool to do the podcast in the basement, have Ty in the tunnel.
Yeah. Tie in the tunnel.
Maybe we could catch that EVP. Hi, I'm a poltergeist. Proof positive. Hello, friendly neighborhood poltergeist.
I don't think Mr. Boots would play that game.
$10.
Upgrade to pro.
Upgrade to pro. Whoa, guys, did you hear that?
So anyway, back to the point from several minutes ago before we got off track is the apps are garbage, all of them. Even I said that. I tried the thermal camera app. It's nothing. It's just a regular. It takes a regular camera and it adds random plots of color to it that have nothing to do with temperature whatsoever.
Oh,
There was
sorry,
a
go ahead.
YouTube group that came and filmed here, and he used that in the tunnel.
He used the app.
Yes.
Oh, I'm surprised.
Yes. There was and it wasn't the group that was just here. It was a different group, and he went down the tunnel with it, and I was like,
Well, I'll tell you why. Once again, because he's after views on YouTube,
And he has a
people that
lot.
are watching those views on YouTube aren't going to come back off to the side and say, "Well, what it could be is this, this, and this." They're going to say, "Ghost."
He's
well, and then he got spooked by something, and he backed up into one of those metal things on the wall, and he hurt his back, but the ghost made him do that. The ghost made him bleed.
Were this wasn't the two guys, or it was the two guys?
That you guys were here for?
Is that them?
No.
Oh, it's a different one.
It's
okay,
a
because they
different-
seem pretty legit.
They're a little goofy with certain things, but when it came to the actual investigating, they were serious.
Yeah.
They didn't, and at one point
Are you
in
talking
time-
about us?
No.
Are you talking about us?
No.
I can, do you care if I say their group?
No,
Or do you not
that's
want me?
fine.
It's called the Overnight Channel on YouTube. They have a lot of followers, but they were super nice. We started investigating. They didn't fake anything. What'd you hear?
Yeah, whisper.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I heard a whisper.
Oh.
But the
But they were-
goofiness part of those guys is the entertainment part. They're trying to provide the entertainment part for YouTube, and they do it pretty well. But their investigation
they're serious.
was good.
Yeah, they
right.
weren't
Yeah, I like that.
making up stuff.
That's who I thought you were talking about. That's why I was surprised you said they brought out.
That's why I asked if you're talking. I was joking, but that's kind of what we have fun, but we're serious when the
No, they're goofy in the beginning, and they kind of will play tricks on one another throughout.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as they didn't fake anything, like when we were up in the boys' dorm, nothing happened,
so they have good
and they didn't fake it.
good intentions. then.
So that is a YouTube group that and I'm not just saying that because I was on the show, but they're a legitimate group.
And
I would go
every-
watch their show.
Every single one on YouTube or on TV or whatever is not. I'm not saying that every single one of those guys is not gathering real evidence, because those that are really truly trying will go through the same thing that we do, and that is, we'll go through, and if we get a really cool EVP, I'm going to send it around to everybody. But we're not going to put in the ones that don't sound as well. We're not going to put in the ones that aren't as good, because even with what we do, you've got to have something that's compelling enough to listen to it.
So one of the things that's actually funny, talking about the guys being goofy and us, having fun when we do investigations, is the one we did at the Nora Emerson Bridal. We did not fully comprehend, or I didn't fully comprehend, that she had cameras running on the inside that also captured all of our audio.
No, I knew
Before
that.
we started
Before
the
we started
investigation,
the
Oh, yeah.
let's make that clear.
Dustin and I saw it, and we were kind of like,
I saw it
There's
as
camera.
well, but I
Yeah,
was
I
just
saw it, and
I was
then-
just thinking it was just a camera. But it actually caught audio, because whenever I was talking to her later, she referred to things that we said before.
I'm so glad she had a good sense of humor. 'Cause I
Yeah,
was
me
like,
too. Because
And I'm not saying we were not making fun.
No,
of
no, no.
anything.
No.
We're very crass, and whenever we're labeling certain, so we know that everybody knows what area we're talking about later. We're very crass in our labeling of certain rooms. It's just like when you're memorizing medical terms, the most crass, ridiculous thing you can use as a memory device, the more memorable.
no, I
it's gonna
can't say
be.
some of my mnemonic devices on the show because I'd get us
Oh no, nobody
taken off
can.
the.
The best ones can't be repeated because they're terrible. And that's kind of what we do when we go into an investigation with these rooms.
Well, it's funny because Melissa and I both saw the camera, and I even took note of it, and then I
pointed
kept
at
saying stupid stuff.
It doesn't matter.
I kept saying stupid stuff to her, and we were like, "Oh, there's a camera up there. I wonder if it's catching audio."
I did the same. So later, whenever Lacey at the bridal place said, "Yeah, my camera's caught the screaming too," I'm like, "Oh shit, man! She caught everything." And we didn't say anything bad or degrading.
No, but you came up with the nickname for that room.
Yes.
We can probably say it
You
here.
did,
It's our
or
podcast.
No, Chris came up with the name, but then John was the
So-
one that said it numerous times.
Yeah, John's the one who repeated it, to death.
Well, that doesn't sound right.
So we were at the bridal place, and they have a place upstairs. It's also a photography studio, and they have a place upstairs where they do photo shoots, and they have clothing options up there that are not much to them at all.
Well, it's tasteful still,
It's
though.
tasteful, yeah, sure, yeah.
And
For
some
those kind of
people
photos.
just like to have those pictures taken, like for their significant other or something.
Completely
But
normal.
can I say what we called it?
It is
You can
normal.
say, I was getting ready to get there.
We called it the wiener room.
Because I made the passing comment that I think Melissa or Bobby, one of them said, well, they take pictures in here. And I was
It
like,
was
what kind of pictures
Melissa.
do they take? They take like pictures of wieners and stuff?
And we said, "No, that's in that other room.
Right.
This is where the ladies
Little
go."
did we know the business owner was at home enjoying all this live.
Yeah, watching our very professional.
Dustin even said, "We're going to get professional now when we leave." That was about right.
So, I mean, yeah, so we did refer to that the rest of the night. It's like, where'd you hear that? I don't know. I think it came from the wiener room.
Yeah, we did.
I don't know. We had fun. Anybody
So if you don't
I
have a,
even called it the
who
wiener.
can't handle that, then-
Did
Yeah, at
you?
one point, Bobby was like, "Is this the wiener room?"
And we have no evidence at all that a wiener's ever been photographed in there.
called it the wiener room on our way up here, and I still knew what she was talking about. So
That's
it's
why
a
we do
good
it.
it's a good thing
That's
to
why
do.
we do it, yeah.
Very memorable.
I mean,
don't call us for an investigation if you don't have a sense of humor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember Macaroni Pan House from that was 15 years ago.
You remember
so.
last episode
Hamstring.
when you were talking about how you're reordering the investigations? I was going to say case number 40061, codename Macaroni Pan.
Code name. That's
I would
good.
know exactly what I was looking for if I did that.
Like if you came up to me and said, "Remember Macaroni House?" I'd be like, what do you
Immediately.
mean? Do you think I
Immediately,
forgot?
know what that is.
Yeah, and the one with the rat ground into the carpet. The one
Yep,
we did there?
yep.
Yeah. Rat Stomp House.
Verona.
I hope we're vetting these places a little bit better because
We are, yes, we are much better.
I might turn around and leave if.
Well, that
Dude,
one,
that
I walked into
hoarder
that.
house that
so
we went to,
Tyler at
was,
that house went down into this. What was that like a?
that was a
septic-
basement. It was a basement.
And he was down there gagging.
All right, hold on. Okay, so
No, we could bring stuff home from those. We could bring like bed bugs and stuff.
yes,
Yes, I know.
Just like
we went to this house that was
like a poop hole.
It was. I went down there, man. There was this house,
voluntarily.
very hoarded, horribly. One of the worst I've ever seen.
Yeah, it really was bad.
And they had this little basement. I went down the steps, and the smell was overwhelming at first.
Yeah, I
went
remember this.
Down the steps, and then I saw this stuff on the floor,
Slurry of-
liquidy.
Was it-
And as I got
was it
closer,
shit?
it was shit. Human shit.
So it's like their septic tank had
Yeah.
backflowed into this, and they were just of the opinion of, oh yeah, I did that.
Yeah, there's a little.
okay.
Oh, okay, yeah. You might want to tell us that next time.
But yeah, it was gone, and we could hear Tyler down there.
Yeah, it was bad. It was shit.
That was so bizarre. That whole night was so weird because
So, it was in the country then?
Well, we were
Yes.
there, and it was almost like they lived at like almost a compound.
A compound. Yeah, they had the
And-
big house and then the other little house.
Yeah, and then we also, that was also the night that we had that one guy and girl that. Who was that? That
was
back to that.
that was
showed
so
up.
bizarre.
It was.
They were
it
probably
was-
on drugs.
It was the guy was a friend of
Me.
yours, and he was perfectly fine. You know, he came with us to the Republican investigation. This time, his girlfriend at the time decided that are they still together?
No.
Oh, this time his good. This time, his girlfriend at the time decided she would come too. So we're sitting there doing our normal stuff,
and she's taking over.
doing
Well,
EVP sessions.
No. Not. She was using one of those ghost apps.
She had an app on her phone
numerous
open. Yes,
ones.
she did.
Yeah, and she kept saying the ghost is here, and I'm like,
Oh, it's coming right up behind
yeah,
you.
yeah. She kept doing
See,
that.
and that's a good thing to bring up because that's a person that would see that on the App Store
Yeah.
and just immediately take it at face value and say, "Oh, this works."
Right.
And then you start using it, and then that's their legitimate evidence.
But we were in a position at that point where it's like, okay, I don't want to be here in this house to start with. I really don't want to be here with this person.
Right.
That we don't talk about people's houses like all the time.
No, we
Like,
don't.
This was like a very special case. It being elevated to the point to where like I was concerned for our like health.
Right.
Oh God! At one point, Chris and I were walking up the stairs.
Oh my God.
And there was this giant spider web.
Like a Halloween looking.
And the spider, we just shined our lights at it, and the spider was like in the middle of a meal, eating like a praying mantis or something. And it was like something out of a
home.
David
They
Attenborough
lived
film.
inside the house?
Yeah.
Was
A
it
bunch
old
of them.
people?
No.
They had to have been
Yeah,
on
but remember there
drugs
was
or
like dead
something.
mice and stuff on the floor.
Sewn to the
Yes,
carpet.
yes,
That's why
that
we
were
call
in
it the
there.
rat
Yeah.
Does
stomp
carpet
house.
or the dirt, Tyler?
There was carpet. There was also dirt.
This is the house we were talking about. And yes, you're right. We don't make fun of people's houses.
No, we
after
don't do
go
that.
there.
I do want to stress that point because there are some people that are like, I'm not calling them. My house is messy. I haven't done dishes. This isn't not doing dishes for a week.
No.
This isn't
like
a pile of laundry on the floor. This is
like the health inspector would kick you out type stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, children should not have been in there because it was dangerous.
very dangerous. Yeah.
And like John said, it was like a compound. They had the big main house. It was
It's
big.
like a compound.
It
It
wasn't
was
like
very
a-
strange.
It was super weird. It was
Because
the
they all
weirdest.
left the main house and went and hung out in the
right.
the guest house
Yeah.
out there. And this is not the kind of house you would figure would have a guest house,
No.
but it did. And
more
then
like
they
a
would
com-
occasionally
I
pop
wonder,
back in.
did you go into that one?
No.
I wonder what the
Yeah,
conditions
They didn't
like.
invite us into that. It was like a community center.
Yeah, it was the whole
That's
night was
really
so weird.
But
We've had that kind of stuff happen before where people have, remember the one guy?
yeah,
What?
Huh?
yes.
We don't have to
And we can't really do many identifiers on that
we
one.
can't do
but
that.
yeah, we did have one where another significant other of the person that we were doing the investigation
was very
of the
strange.
house for had snuck in unbeknownst to us.
Scared the absolute, like,
We were doing an EVP in the living room, and we had a lot of activity.
somebody sneaking in unknowingly to a paranormal investigation is terrifying.
You guys can tell, like, you can put the setup with
I'm
it.
going to put the setup, and I'm even going to change his name to Frank. So we were scattered. We had been to this place before.
We've lost John.
John's in a loop. John's caught in the loop.
Man down.
So we had been to this home before because we had caught so much activity there.
This is
and
favorite story.
It was during the. I don't want to give too many identifiers here, but we kept going back because it was during a time when we there was not a lot of places to go. So. The last time we went there, we were scattered around where we always are. We knew where to post, you know. So we were doing the EVP, the podcast live. So during the podcast, I would say, "Hey, this is Chris, and I'm in the living room." And then Tyler would say, "I'm between the living room and the kitchen." John's like, "I'm near the near the entertainment center, and Dustin be wherever. I'm in the corner of the room." We went through the the roll call of where we were, and all of a sudden we heard this, and I'm going to use the name Frank. All of a sudden we heard this name say, I don't even know if I can. I don't even. And Frank's over here by the stairs. Yes. Yeah.
A little voice out of nowhere. We're like, what?
Who the hell's Frank?
You talked about having an out of body experience.
It was just like,
I mean, I literally
didn't
jumped
even-
out of my own body.
You could see the shock. It was pitch black in there, but you could see the silhouettes of like John and Dustin and Tyler.
just heads turn.
Everybody turning faces.
And then you could see us all look at each other and be kind of like, oh. Okay, and at that point, this was the funniest part, and it's not going to be funny to anybody who didn't see it. I can see a perfect side silhouette of John, and at that point, we were all standing there like, what the hell? We're doing a podcast here. You know, well, how are we supposed to explain? And I saw John bring the mic up to his mouth and stand there for about 5 seconds, and then he just put it down like there's really nothing to say.
There wasn't anything you could say. And the thing that also adds to this is this guy had like the creepiest voice ever. You sound like this. What are you doing? And and he's such a creepy voice.
Here's the thing, though. We're saying all that. We're giving our locations. The last thing we expect is a voice that's coming from someone not in our group.
That we did not know had snuck
How
in.
did
We
he-
thought this person was gone, like got in their
We
vehicle
thought
and
they
left.
they weren't outside, that they'd left.
A very gruff.
Did they live
voice.
there? Like, how did
No,
they know?
no. It was a friend of the.
It was a friend of the homeowner.
Okay.
I'm on the stairs. Whoa, what the? Jesus Christ.
And the thing is,
Anybody hear that?
the thing is, we had tons of activity that night. We had a bunch of activity.
And it's important to keep in mind that each of us had a microphone in our hand, and then we hear this voice come from the stairs that does not have a microphone in their hand.
Right. That we didn't know was there. Very scary.
So now we're in a situation where it's like, well, God, how long has this person
No
been
kidding.
in here?
Yeah.
Yep.
You know. So yeah.
Was Frank the cause of all the other stuff that we heard?
Right. So, I mean, we knew Frank wasn't the cause of the female voice, but, some of the other stuff, it's like, well, now we got to throw all that shit out because we don't know when this person came in.
Mm-hmm.
Or that they were even within a mile of us,
Yeah,
let
that's-
alone 5 feet away on the freaking stairs.
Were you talking crap about anyone?
No. It was just shocking to hear that voice come in all the same. So, but anyway, the point I was going to make here a minute ago is you were talking about your YouTube guys, how they were, having fun, kind of like we do when we go out. We're not making fun. We're not even making fun. We're not doing what we do to make fun of people. We're just, when we go out, we have fun with our investigation, especially when we're, in the process of setting up, naming the wiener room or the...
You have to, man, because some of that stuff really is. It's.
I will say that,
monotonous.
Yes.
I am going to say real quick that, 99% of the places we go, are just perfectly fine. Nice
just a
places.
house.
Just a
Yeah,
house.
but
normal
it's just
people.
like anything else.
We're
you
not gonna
you
come in
remember the abnormal.
The
You
one
always
or
do.
two that were, and again, I have to stress that place we talked about, it was just like a health concern. If it
really-
was just a little messy, my house is messy.
My house is messy,
But this was
sometimes,
there's poop in your basement, you might want to get that fixed.
Yeah, dude. If there's
Before
rats,
you call people in, you know what I mean?
if there are mummified rats sewn to your damn carpet,
If you have spiders the size of my car,
on your stairwell,
Yes.
maybe fix that before you invite company over.
Inside, this is the
Yeah.
stairwell that led upstairs to,
All
to
we're
another
it's the main
living
house
area.
that they
Nope.
live in.
All we're
This is not
asking
a
is that
shed.
before you call us to come see if there's a ghost in your house, just get a snow shovel, pick up all the dried rats from your floor, and just
We're not going to come on this podcast and say, man, can you believe that house we went to last weekend? They hadn't vacuumed in a week. We're not going to do that.
right, yeah, no, that doesn't happen.
But some of these are outliers, I mean, number one, that's not going to happen anyway. If we come to your house, we've already vetted it well enough to know you have legitimate paranormal claims, and we could care less, what's going on there. But these are outliers. These are years ago. But the point I was going to make earlier with the YouTube group, and you said, they have fun with it, kind of like we do. They're in the entertainment aspect. Can I talk about one group that I think is bad? That does this, that's on Apple TV. Is it on Apple TV or Hulu Live? I don't remember. It's BuzzFeed.
Oh, God.
Oh, BuzzFeed makes articles just for clicks. So, they're going to make
this
shows.
BuzzFeed
They
Supernatural.
Were, oh, God, when they were here,
Now
they
the
were
Pythian,
awful.
now it only lists 5 seasons. Pythians is not on there. That's what I was looking for.
Oh, well, it's bad.
But I watched one of my favorite UFO abduction cases is Travis Walton. He was the lumberjack.
Yeah.
The lumberjack.
That's one of the more credible
the
ones.
dude was missing for 6 days and then woke up on the road.
Yeah.
And his friends were in jail for murder charges.
They thought that they were going to go to jail until he showed back up.
They all pass a lie detector test, and he comes wandering back into town and calls his brother. He's like, I don't know where I am or
Didn't they
what
make a
day
movie
it is."
about that?
Did they? Yes, they did.
Fire in the Sky.
Fire in the
Is
Sky.
that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, that's my favorite UFO abduction case because it's so credible. There's so many people who say have the same story. Most of them don't even want to talk about it because they're still psychologically affected.
how
That
could
would
you
be
not be?
terrifying.
Yeah.
You've been abducted.
I know, but anyway, I was looking through BuzzFeed looking for the Pythian episode, and I saw the Travis Walton story. I thought, man, I could watch that because that's a good story. And they're making fun of it.
That's not tasteful.
They're taking it beyond just the entertainment aspect, and they're literally making fun of this thing that happened that ruined 7 people's lives.
Yeah.
And I even said out loud, I was like, this is terrible. If that's the way they did the Pythian episode, I don't even want to see it.
Oh, well, one of the guys, I don't know his name, the one that actually is into it, the little shorter
Yes,
guy.
yes, I know.
I don't know his name.
There's a guy with like a goatee, and then the other guy.
Okay, the really tall, super goofy one. I'm just going to say he's an asshole.
He's the one who was making fun of it.
He's an asshole.
Yeah.
He came here and everything was a joke. And I know you guys are going to think this is funny, but I thought it was disrespectful. He's down in the tunnel doing his thing, and he just totally farts.
What?
Yeah, you would think, oh, that's kind of funny. But I get it. It's kind of funny, but it's like, Why would you do that?
On camera? Like on,
It's in the episode.
Look, everything he says on this entire 23-minute
terrible.
episode is trying to be funny.
And he's not. He's
And
disrespectful.
failing miserably.
He's disrespectful about everything. I hate the show. People come in here, oh, it was so funny. And I kind of want to be like,
It's not funny at
what the
all.
fuck is wrong with
A
you?
lot
Sorry,
of people
but
think that kind of sense of humor.
I loaded the Travis Walton episode to see the Travis Walton story, which I know I've seen a million shows on it. This was the only one
it's
that was
funny that
garbage.
they pick that one to make fun of.
Well, they may do that on everything.
They make fun of everything. Every episode they go to, the one guy is like into it and is trying to be all serious, and the tall guy
There's good
is
cop,
just,
bad cop, and bad cop is not funny.
he's a dick about everything.
When we get called to a house, this stuff can and has ruined people's lives. We've
Yeah.
seen it. It's not funny.
This story definitely did.
Yes.
These guys were in going to jail for murder.
And he's still dealing with you got two options when you're gone for days like him. One, you've had a mental breakdown. You don't realize it. Terrifying.
fugue. Yeah.
Two, you were abducted by aliens. Also terrifying. So you've got to come to terms with it.
What
and
did they do with you when they had you?
both of those things suck.
Yeah.
Right?
Neither one of those are desirable.
And to have a show make fun of you for it, man, that sucks.
And they did. And
poor guy.
And one of these guys doesn't even go on the shows anymore. He provides a written deposition of
Do
what
you
happened.
blame him?
No.
That's what I do.
No, he provides a written deposition of what happened to him, and he doesn't even go on camera because his life has just been teetotally wrecked. But yeah, I thought and again, this is the only episode I watch. I only watch about 9 minutes, and it was terrible. It was terrible.
If you go on YouTube and just Google the BuzzFeed episode about the castle, and of course I'm a little bit more passionate about it because I love the building and I'm here. They were disrespectful,
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
and I don't like that.
I wouldn't do that.
That's one thing that we don't do. Believe
I don't
it or
like
not.
it.
We've tried provoking, spirits or whatever to get things to happen, but this is just this was terrible. The BuzzFeed Supernatural.
And
garbage.
I like to think that I do have this kind of sense of humor. I mean, hell, I'm with all these guys, but there are some things that it's not funny. It's just not funny.
And we don't really trash on people. Not like that.
No, we don't. Everything we do is just the fun stuff amongst us. Or literally, usually it's ways to remember things in areas that we're not familiar with. We're not going to say the last room on the left. We're going to say the wiener room, we may cut that out, when it comes time to air that stuff or whatever. But still, I mean, that's the kind of stuff that we do. This is just flat out terrible. The BuzzFeed Supernatural. I was highly disappointed. Usually BuzzFeed's got pretty good content on their regular site.
No.
Or they used to.
This stuff can ruin families, though.
Yes.
It really
It
can.
can break
It
families
absolutely
apart.
can.
And we've seen it happen.
Yeah, we've seen that happen.
Shane is the guy that is not funny.
Let me see. Yeah, that's the guy with the goatee that I was talking about. Everything he says, he tries to be funny and fails miserably.
He's an asshole.
I'm sure it's just part of the.
It's part of the character he's playing.
No,
No?
it's not.
Okay.
94% of the show, the video, it's a 23-minute long segment. 94% of it is just words flashing up on the screen of their dialogue between each other, and it's the one guy trying to be funny and the one guy trying to reel him in.
Yep.
And that's the whole shtick.
Yep.
It was nothing about Travis Walton. It's what about this could I find funny?
And make fun of.
So it was terrible.
Yep.
That episode, at least, that's the only one I can.
Sounds like he deserves to go missing and get probed for a few days.
That's the only one I can attest to because that's the only one I watched about 9 minutes of, and it was god awful.
Probed.
That's what happens, man. That's what they do. I don't know why.
Do you know from experience?
Well, it's just always weird to me the idea that aliens out there, this advanced species that are using these amazing means of propulsion to get across the entire known universe, and they're abducting humans and probing us.
Have you?
A cucumber up the butt. I mean,
That
that's the
doesn't
only way-
sound right to me. I feel like they'd have a different way of
a better,
doing things.
A more high-tech scan device.
You
Yeah.
seem pretty knowledgeable about their practices.
That's what I was gonna say.
I mean, they can see
Wanna
what I'm
talk?
carrying when I
You
go to
need
the
to talk?
airport.
Yeah, right. We could do that with a simple,
And I've never
human
been
technology.
probed at the airport. I don't know about any of you guys, but
No,
I've come close to being probed at the airport.
So I did want to get my licks in on the BuzzFeed thing being terrible, which surprised me because I thought when I first saw that I had that option on my Hulu Live or whatever I was looking at, I was like, oh cool, it's got the BuzzFeed Supernatural. I know Pythian's on
I got to tell you, that doesn't surprise me. Like, if it has BuzzFeed's name on it, I would imagine it to be pretty.
But they have like a new show now.
Of course they do.
It's their own show. Yeah, it's not just clickable content. It's their show.
Man, that's nuts.
They've
to
got
me.
like a new
I mean,
season
there was
out.
like 25 episodes
Yeah.
or more.
So does that come out of their pocket or
What?
like the funding for?
It comes out, yeah, BuzzFeed.
Now I will
yeah.
say that everybody else that was here with BuzzFeed was very nice. but he was not.
I'm sure that they're probably secretly like, God, this guy's
Yeah.
Probably.
There's a difference between being funny and being just a teetotal dick about it. And especially with that story that I picked, I thought, my God, this is just completely tasteless.
There's no need to. That's a perfect word for it.
So anyway, I would advise, if you want to watch an episode, you'll kind of see what we're talking about, but I won't watch it again.
I think I'll pass it.
Watch the overnight channel. You can see me.
I like to purposely
Overnight was
watch
good.
bad stuff.
It's not even that it's hard to watch because it's like, what the hell
It's
are
very
you talking
cringe.
about?
I was getting ready to say,
Cringe
it sounds like
worthy.
cringy to
It's
me.
very cringy.
And I
It feels
can't
like
do.
there should be a laugh track inserted, but it's silent.
I can't
It's
do
like,
that
ew.
type of humor
Most
where it's like.
BuzzFeed stuff does come off as cringy.
Well,
It's
BuzzFeed
cringy.
used to be in line with TMZ, and now it's click here to click your favorite Disney princess to see what type of sandwich you are.
And if you notice, every one of their articles, you have to click next to get to the next.
Yes.
So that way
It
they can
increases
give
the
you
clicks,
20 ads
Yeah.
in the side instead of just one. That's very scum. Next week's episode sponsored by BuzzFeed
and Ghost Radar.
and Ghost Radar. Download now. 10 days free.
All right. Well, I don't know. Anyway, that's really all.
We kind of veered off there, but
a
that's
little
okay.
bit. That's okay.
That's okay.
That's why we did it.
Did we have a direction?
We're just trying to warn people what not to watch on TV.
Yeah, I would definitely steer clear of that.
Don't
Ghost
watch that
Hunters,
one.
if you wanted to watch a paranormal TV show, Ghost Hunters is the top of the heap. You may find it to be boring. But it
It's
shows
more
a lot,
realistic.
It shows a lot of their history gathering. You know, they go to the actual, whatever town they're in, they go to that historian and they have them give the full history. They spend a week there.
Wow, they put some effort in.
Well,
huh?
and there will be an entire episode where nothing happens.
That's
nothing.
crazy to me.
But that's what happens.
I know. It's crazy to me that's a TV show because
So
most
that's
people
why
wouldn't
I know,
wanna-
and that's the leading paranormal show. Nobody else is following the lead.
We'll be back soon with another episode of Midwest Ghost Hunters Dark Matter Podcast.